You may proceed.
May it please the court. Mr. Rain. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Mrs. Anthony.
Good morning.
I wanted to talk to you, ma'am, about the shorts that Caylee was found in when they found her remains off Suburban Drive. You've seen a photograph that's been introduced into evidence of those shorts, correct?
Yes.
And you testified previously that the shorts no longer fit her?
I testified that she was at, the last time I saw her, she was in 3 toddlers, 3T.
Okay. And though that photograph was taken, you said early 2007.
Yes, I believe it was spring of 2007.
Is Caylee like every other child that grows incredibly fast or grew incredibly fast?
Caylee was on the high end of the growth chart, yes.
Okay. And that day when that photograph was taken, you actually videotaped her on that day, did you not?
Yes.
Okay. And I'd like to bring up the video so you can see and identify.
Basis of objection.
Relevance.
Approach the sidebar. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mrs. Anthony, you've had a chance to review this video,
Yes.
correct? And it is the video that's marked Defense EH. Mrs. Anthony, may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Anthony Home, living room 1.
And ma'am, is the video a fair and accurate representation of what Caylee's size was back in early 2007?
Yes.
And is it a fair and accurate representation of what occurred of her size and everything, and her interaction?
Yes.
Judge, at this time, we would move defense item EH into evidence.
It'll be entered in evidence as defense numbered.
We would at this time like to publish that video to the jury, Your Honor. See it? You can. Can the ladies and gentlemen of the jury see it? Let's play. Mrs. Anthony, how much had Caylee grown since this video was taken?
She's grown quite a bit.
Okay. And how do you know this video was taken in early 2007?
Because the date stamp on it says April of 2007. And I remember the clothes I was wearing that time, the skirt that I was wearing kind of was out of date after that. I didn't wear it much after that.
Now you've seen, what you're referring to are things that we haven't seen,
No,
correct? And you've seen this video numbers of times,
yes,
and you were wearing a skirt that was out of date.
Sustained.
Can you tell us exactly why you believe that that was taken early of 2007, aside from Caylee's size?
I watched that video hundreds of times since I haven't seen Caylee in 2008. And there's still pictures of me holding Caylee on the same day. And I recall the skirt, it was like a Hawaiian print. And even though I still have the skirt, I hadn't worn it after. I don't recall wearing it after that. It was kind of like not popular after that.
Okay. I'd like to now show you photographs that have been marked. I'd like to show you Defense Exhibit A. May I approach the witness?
You may.
Do you recall I've shown you this photograph and you've testified about it previously?
Yes,
Okay. And is it a fair and accurate representation of you and Casey at your brother's wedding?
yes,
Judge, at this time, we would move Defense Exhibit A into evidence.
What says the state?
object to relevance.
Relevancy for this testimony?
If you like, I can proffer at sidebar. I think it's
You
been
may.
made relevant.
Objection sustained.
Mrs. Anthony, I'd like to now show you a photograph of Defense Exhibit DO. May I approach the witness?
You may.
Do you know what that picture is of?
Yes,
And can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what it is a picture of?
it's a picture of our backyard swimming pool.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate representation of what the pool looks like with the ladder connected?
Yes,
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, we would move Defense DO into evidence.
What says the state? Be received in evidence that states a defense exhibit numbered.
I would ask to publish it to the jury, Your Honor. If I may. Mrs. Anthony, does this ladder disconnect?
yes,
Okay. And can you use the tool there and show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how you would disconnect that ladder?
right at the top, there's a little hinge there and you just lift it up and then the ladder comes off. You just pick it up and it comes off.
Now I'm going to show you Defense Exhibit DS. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
And what is the photograph that I've just shown you, ma'am?
It depicts where we would place the ladder after we removed it.
Okay. And is it a fair and accurate representation of what your pool looks like when the ladder is down or
Yes.
off?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would at this time move into evidence Defense Exhibit DO.
What says the state? It will be received in evidence as defense exhibit numbered
Right. May I publish that to the jury?
yes.
May I approach the witness?
May?
And is that another photograph of your swimming pool?
Yes.
And is this just a slightly different angle of what the ladder looks like when the ladder is off and off the pool?
Yes.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of such?
Yes.
Judge, at this time, I would move into evidence Defense Exhibit DT.
What says the state? It will be received in evidence as defense exhibit numbered
49.
May I publish to the jury?
you may.
Okay. DU. May I approach the witness with DU?
You may.
Do you know what that photograph is of, Mrs. Anthony?
Yes.
Would you like to take a break? Do you need a break?
No, I'm okay.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury of what that is?
It's a picture of Caylee walking up the ladder, and I'm behind her holding her.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. This is not an item in evidence, and if we can approach and get to the relevance.
Okay, approach.
Mrs. Anthony, I'm showing you a photograph of DU. When was that photograph taken?
I believe it was the summer of 2007.
Okay. And this was approximately 1 year before Caylee passed away?
Yes.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate representation of what it depicts?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, we would move item DU into evidence.
Noting, let me see this. Noting previous objections, objection would be overruled. It would be received in evidence as defense numbered.
May we publish to the jury, Your Honor?
You may.
Since this photograph was taken, can you describe what you're doing here, Mrs. Anthony, or what Caylee's doing?
She was climbing the ladder, and
And how much are you supporting her in her efforts?
my hands are on her, but not firmly. They're right there, just like a light touch.
And after this time period, as the year went on, did she become better at climbing the ladder of the pool?
Oh, absolutely. Even at that point, she could climb into the pool by herself.
And for safety reasons, you would always just be there as a safety net.
Yes.
I would like to now approach the witness, Your Honor, with Defense Exhibit DV. Yeah.
You may.
And what is that photograph of, ma'am?
It's Caylee still climbing the ladder. It's just another image from the last one.
And is that where she's a little further along and up the ladder?
Yes.
Is that a fair and accurate representation of what it depicts?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, we would move Defense Exhibit DV into evidence.
What says the state?
Same objection as noted. That's all.
Okay. Objection will be overruled, be received in evidence as defense exhibit number.
May I publish to the jury, Your Honor?
You may.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
May I unpublish, Your Honor?
May.
What is that photograph, DW, of Mrs. Anthony?
It's Caylee that same day when she made it to the top platform of the ladder.
And is that a fair and accurate representation of what that depicts?
Yes.
Could you read the letters on the back? I want to make sure we're getting that. Is it DW?
Yes, DW.
Judge, I would at this time move DW into evidence.
What says the state? Objection will be overruled, be received in evidence as defense exhibit numbered.
May I publish to the jury?
You may.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
May.
Mrs. Anthony, what is the photograph depict that you're looking at?
It shows me attempting to go around Caylee as I usually did. I mean, we used to have Caylee sit once she got to the platform with her feet on the first step in the water. And then whoever was with her would get around that way. We would get in the pool before her and then receive her.
And is that a fair and accurate photograph of what it depicts?
Yes.
And the letters on the back side of it are?
DX.
Judge, we at this time would move Defense Exhibit DX into evidence.
What says the state?
Same objection noted. Signed.
Objection to be overruled will be received in evidence as defense exhibit numbered.
May I publish to the jury?
You may.
Now, Mrs. Anthony, this is a photograph of Caylee on the first step getting into the pool?
Yes. The first step on the inside ladder.
Now, you're actually behind her, correct?
Yes.
Did she often get anxious to get in the water and sometimes want to get ahead of you?
Objection.
Overruled. You need to repeat your objection. The court reporter did not hear your full objection.
I said objection to relevance. It's also improper opinion testimony.
This,
Just a second. As to the overrule.
you can answer.
For the most part, she, would just sit there and wait for us. Occasionally, especially as she got older, the following year, she was a lot more anxious because she was more familiar with the pool. As she got older, she would run, but we'd still have her wait. But we always had a life jacket on her. So.
And during the summer of 2008, how often did Caylee go swimming?
I can't remember when I put the pool together. It was probably sometime, maybe March or April. So she probably would have swam maybe 3 to 4 times a week.
And that was always with the life vest on?
Yes.
And when you were on vacation during June of 2008, was it 1 week or 2 weeks off?
I had 1 week off at that time.
Okay. How often during that week did Caylee go swimming?
Every day.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness with defense DY?
You may.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that photograph is of?
Yes, it's me entering the pool and holding on to Caylee. And Caylee was in the pool.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate depiction, representation of what it depicts?
Yes.
Can you read the letters on the back?
DY.
Your Honor, at this time, we would move the defense exhibit DY into evidence.
What says the state?
Same objection.
Objection will be overruled. Will be received in evidence as defense exhibit numbered.
May we publish to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Your Honor?
You may.
Mrs. Anthony, is this at a time period where you're trying to get into the pool?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And does Caylee appear to be anxious to swim off, but you've got to hold her?
Yes. Once I made it to the other side and got my feet in the water, it was usually okay for her to start going in. I had to be at least on the other side of the ladder. But yes, she was anxious to get in.
And did you take numerous precautions around the pool with Caylee?
Yes.
Okay. Can you share with the ladies and gentlemen of the jury some of those precautions that you would take?
We made sure that once Caylee started walking, we used to have a pool deck, a pool box, a deck box right next to the pool. And it was just a little bit further from where the ladder was in that picture where it showed that the ladder was down. And once Caylee was a toddler, we moved that and put it up against the house. where you can see in the background where it looks like a ficus tree, and then there's 2 hangings on my house right back there. It was below that where the tree is, right below that area. We put the deck box so that she could not climb up on the deck box to get into the ladder. And we took extra precaution every day to keep the ladder off the pool unless we were going swimming. And then we'd put it on and then we'd take it off. We also made sure that we taught Caylee that she had to be with us, one of us, to go into the pool, and that she had to wait for us. I mean, we took precautions on teaching her how to go up the ladder and down the ladder, backwards and forwards, just like you would stairs in a house, so that we knew she can come up and down, but we told her that, you know, we had to be with her, and why. We showed her why she could get hurt. And we kept the life vest inside the back patio. Caylee's wearing a swimsuit at that time frame with one of those.
Let me stop you there. Did this vest fit her a year later, or did you buy another one?
No, that one was actually the second one we had bought for her. She grew out of the first one, and then she grew out of that one, and we actually bought a removable life vest that would go over her suits.
Now, these photographs, they were taken after the video that we showed the ladies and gentlemen of the jury first, right?
Yes, a few months later.
Okay. And she even outgrew this vest as well?
Yes, by the following summer, she had outgrown that vest.
Okay. Now, I'd like to show you Defense Exhibit EB. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that photograph depicts?
It's a picture of Caylee at the sliding glass door from the living room going into our screen patio.
Now, does Caylee appear to be much bigger in that photograph?
Yes,
And is that a fair and accurate representation of what that photograph depicts?
yes.
Your Honor, can you tell us the numbers on the back?
EB,
Your Honor, at this time, we would move Defense Exhibit EB into evidence.
What says the state? Objection to be overruled. Received in evidence is defense exhibit numbered.
Your Honor, at this time, we'd like to publish this photograph to the jury.
You may.
Prior to the last time you saw Caylee, was she about this height, or was she bigger, or can you describe her size?
she may have been an inch taller. It's hard to. Just trying to figure out where that door would hit me. She might have been a little bit taller, but she was also wearing tennis shoes in that picture, so it might be the accurate height if she was in her bare feet versus those tennis shoes.
And did Caylee ever leave the house barefoot?
You mean to go out in the backyard?
No, I mean leave the house to go to the store or things like that.
No, we always, I mean, I'm 99% sure that we put shoes on her every time we went out. She liked to wear shoes, actually.
And was it your custom to always put shoes on her?
Yes.
Was it Casey's custom to always put shoes on her as well?
Sustain this to the last question.
And the sliding glass door that you have here, I know some of them have like bars that preclude them being opened. You don't have one of those on this door, do you?
No, we didn't put one in, no.
Okay. Now, could Caylee open doors fairly easily at her age?
Yes, you could.
Okay. All right. Can I unpublish?
You may.
Everyone. Now, on June 16th, 2008, did you come home and notice that the pool ladder was up as depicted in the photographs?
You mean on the?
The ladder.
Yes, it was it was attached to the pool.
And was that a highly unusual event for you to see that?
Yes, so much that I called George at work to see if he had left the pool ladder up, because I also noticed that the side gate was open at the same time.
And the next day, did you go to work and tell anyone?
Yes, I think so.
Who did you tell when you went to work about the pool ladder being on your pool?
It was probably either Debbie or Charles or both.
Okay. When you say Debbie, are you referring to Debbie Bennett
Yes,
or Debbie Polisano?
Debbie Bennett.
Okay. Would you have told Debbie Polisano?
If she was back in our work area, she might have heard me say that. A lot of times when I come in the morning, Deborah Polisano would be in the kitchen, which was right next to our work area, making a cup of coffee. So we had cubicles, so you could hear just about everything that went on in the back if you were back there.
And why did you tell your coworkers about the pool ladder being up?
Object to relevance.
Sustain.
Now, during this time period that you were, June 16, 2008, were you having any marital problems?
Object to relevance.
Sustain.
May we approach on this?
You may.
Judge?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to take our standard 15-minute recess unless you want another one, a special one. That would be nice. Okay, we will, to 25 minutes past the hour, that should be enough time for you to take your special recess. I'm going to ask you not to discuss this case among yourselves nor with anyone else. We'll be in recess to 25 past. Let the record reflect that the defendant is present along with counsel for the defendant, assistant state attorney. I've reviewed the Mateo case, which is found at 932 7 2nd 376, a 2006 decision of the Second District Court of Appeals dealing with the issue of theory of defense. Exactly, Mr. Baez, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but your theory of defense was that this was an accidental drowning, that your client's behavior subsequent to the drowning was caused by long-term sexual abuse of Miss Anthony at the hands of her father and brother. Correct? Well, among other things, like what? Because that's the only thing you said in your opening statement. I've reviewed the case. I've reviewed the cases that are cited within this case. And all of these things, the Mateo case had to do with issues of police retaliating. In Mateo, the state had agreed to stipulate to a tape where the witness who was going to predicate the tape became ill, was going to have surgery and couldn't show up, and then the state sort of semi-reneged on their promise and then interposed an objection of relevancy. And as long as the evidence is relevant to that particular issue and also admissible, so what is your theory of defense? Because you cannot use the broad blanket of theory of the defense to just get any and everything in. So if I'm mistaken, and the only thing I can base it upon is what you said in your opening statements, that's why I admitted the photographs of the victim, Caylee Anthony, climbing up the steps into the swimming pool. Now, if your theory of defense is ever changing, maybe you just simply need to tell me what your theory of defense is. At least somebody try to explain it to me. Yes. Okay, state recognized presence of jury.
Yes.
The defense,
Yes, sir, we do.
you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mrs. Anthony, on July 16th, 2008, did you advise the lead detective, Yuri Melich, about the ladder being left up on the pool?
Objection, hearsay.
Hearsay, it's her statement.
It's out of
Overruled.
statement.
Right.
Did you advise me answer should be either a yes or no answer?
Yes,
Okay. And was that within 24 hours of calling the police?
yes,
And how many times have you advised law enforcement that you thought Caylee had drowned in the pool?
Objection, Your Honor.
This rebuts recent fabrication, Judge.
There's nothing.
Sustained.
Point.
Was this a topic that you constantly brought up with law enforcement?
Same
Objection.
Approach the sidebar. Objection is sustained. Next question.
We have no further questions for Ms. Hess.
Cross-examination.
Do we have a moment to mark some photographs, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Anthony.
Good morning.
Even after your granddaughter Caylee was missing from your home beginning in June of 2008, you maintained her bedroom, correct?
Yes, I did.
You kept all of her clothes in the drawers?
Yes, I did.
You even kept any presents that she had received because while she was missing and before her remains were found, she had a birthday.
Yes.
Okay. In the past, as Caylee began to outgrow certain clothing, you would have garage sales, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you would get rid of clothes that were too small,
Some of them, yes.
right? Or you would store them in plastic containers so that they could be maintained, perhaps to sell later or for some other purpose.
Correct.
On June 15th of 2008, was Caylee potty trained?
She was pretty much potty trained, but we would still carry diapers if we went out. She was, a lot of times she would just wear little panties.
Underwear?
Yes, underwear. And if we were at home, then that's what she would wear. If we went out, we would have pull-ups on her just in case we were driving or someplace where we couldn't get to a restroom quickly. Little kids usually wait till last minute to tell you that they have to go. So
When did Caylee make the switch from full-fledged diapers to pull-ups?
oh, wow. I don't know, probably sometime early of 2008.
In the photograph, which is introduced as states 314 in evidence, may I approach the witness? Is Caylee wearing a diaper, a pull-up, or underwear?
It's hard to tell.
I don't think the photograph calls for speculation.
If
Oh,
she's
Based on that photograph, it calls for speculation.
Overruled.
It looks like either a pull-up or a diaper. It doesn't look like a panties. It's up, it looks like it could be a diaper
all right.
or a pull-up.
There's something coming out of the back of the shorts?
Yes.
Is why you're making
Yes.
that assertion. And it is your testimony that she was wearing those pair of shorts in April of 2007, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You recognize in prior testimony in this court that you've said that those pictures were taken shortly before her second birthday, which would be August of 2007, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Proper impeachment.
Overruled.
Yes, I stated that it was, several months before her second birthday.
Okay. So in 2007, based on the testimony that you've already given here this morning, Caylee was still wearing diapers.
Yes.
If I may approach the witness with a series of photographs marked RF, RE, RG, RH, RI, RL, RK, and RJ for identification.
You may.
Who did the laundry in your house? I think we talked about this before.
It would George, myself, or Casey. It was mostly myself or George.
Who bought Caylee's clothing?
Casey and I, and relatives and friends. I mean, typical. She got a lot of gifts, but primarily Casey and I did.
Okay. Did you do a lot of shopping at Target?
Yes, ma'am.
You recognize that the Circo brand on a lot of Caylee's clothing is a Target store brand, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you take a look at those photographs that have been handed to you and tell me if you recognize any of the clothing in the photographs? If there is something that you don't recognize, segregate that out.
Object at this time. These photographs do not show clothing, they show tags.
Tags on clothing.
Objection overruled. She's just looking at them for now. She's not testifying to them.
Do you recognize everything in all of those photographs?
The only one I'm not certain of is RE. I'm not sure if that's a shirt or a dress, and I can't, it looks familiar, but I can't say what it is.
All right, keep that one aside then. What do you recognize the other items to be?
Mostly tops and a pair of shorts, one pair of shorts that's Caylee's.
And where do you recognize them from?
Her room.
Were those clothing items that were in Caylee's room in June of 2008 and maintained there by you until they were seized by law enforcement?
I believe so.
So what size clothing did you have in Caylee's drawers?
I had 2 T's. Those depicted 2 T's, but there was 3 T's as well.
Now, like many children, Caylee was a little bit stocky when she was a baby, correct?
Yes.
And as she got older and more mobile, she began to thin out.
Yes.
That process takes place, or took place with Caylee, sometime between the age of 1 and 2, and as she becomes even more mobile as she approaches the age of 3. Correct?
Yes.
It would be fair to say then that there are clothing items that Caylee had that could last for as much as a year, even if she's growing taller. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
These shorts that we looked at states 314 in evidence, and the ones displayed in the video that we saw during your direct testimony, those were shorts that were kept in your house, weren't they?
Yes, ma'am.
When was the last time you saw them?
Sometime in 2008, towards the end of 2008.
Towards the end?
Those shorts?
Yes. When was the last time you saw them before June 16th of 2008?
Oh, you mean, what, excuse me, I'm not sure. Are you talking about the pictures you just showed me? Okay, I thought you were talking about the pictures we just looked at. I'm sorry.
314 evidence and shorts that were in the video that was displayed during your direct testimony.
Okay.
Were those shorts kept at your house?
Those particular shorts, I hadn't recalled Caylee wearing those shorts for some time.
Okay, the question was, were those shorts kept at your house?
You mean every day? There was several pieces of clothing throughout Caylee's life that wasn't at my house every day.
Would that be because they were packed in some sort of diaper bag or backpack?
Calls for speculation. The witness has testified she hasn't seen the shorts in over 6 months. So the question is posed to ask her to speculate.
Overruled.
Can you repeat it?
We were talking about the fact that there were clothing items that you would have recognized as having been in the home because you washed the clothes
Right.
or you bought the clothes that were sometimes transported in a diaper bag or in a backpack,
That's correct.
correct? And then you had seen or had knowledge of that diaper bag or backpack being placed in your daughter's car, correct?
Yes, or my car.
Or your car or your husband's car.
Yes.
Whenever you all might have taken Caylee somewhere.
That's correct.
You had a change of clothes
Yes.
with you. So do you have any recollection as to the last time you may have seen those shorts that are in the photograph that I handed to you or that had appeared in the video that you indicate was taken in early to mid 2007?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time? I just want to make sure I get on the same page.
When was the last time you saw those shorts?
Those weren't shorts that I dressed Caylee in quite a bit. I mean, there was quite a few things that I didn't dress Caylee in, and that outfit was not one of my favorite outfits. And she had more clothes hanging in her closet than she did there. So unless Casey had her in them, and she may have worn them after, but I didn't see her that much after 2007. I do not recall seeing Caylee in those shorts after 2007.
Okay. The photograph and the video taken of her in the shorts was taken at your house, correct?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
So you would agree that it stands to reason that at some time those shorts were kept at your house?
Yes, like I said, they were at our house, but I can't say they were there every single day. Yes.
Okay. The picture of the ladder that you testified about, how heavy is that ladder?
I don't know the actual weight. I know I can't lift it with one hand. I have to use two hands to lift it.
You would agree that it is nothing that Caylee would ever be capable of moving or manipulating on her own, correct?
Correct. She could not.
How heavy is that sliding glass door that you showed us in the picture with Caylee touching the handle?
You have to put a pretty good force to it to open it up.
Now, even though Caylee was 2, almost 3, the last time you saw her, she was a very compliant child.
Yes,
she would
was.
follow your instruction, right?
Yes.
Okay, if you gave her direction, she would listen to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it was your testimony that you were very careful to give Caylee instruction about whether that's going outside or putting on any sort of life vest or climbing up the ladder of the pool.
That's correct.
How deep is the pool?
I think we went through this before. It could go up to 4 feet, but we don't fill it naturally all the way to the top, so it's just a little bit under 4 feet.
Standing outside of the pool, can an adult reach in to retrieve objects in the pool if they are not at the edge?
You have to be at the edge of the pool to reach in and get an object.
Okay. If an object is not at the edge, but you are, can you reach in and retrieve it without
Not-
getting wet?
No, not unless it's within a few inches from the edge of the pool.
When was the photograph taken of Caylee at the sliding glass door?
I can't tell you a month, but I would say it was probably the spring of 2008.
I also imagine that you would never permit Caylee to be left home alone at your house.
Absolutely not.
One of the things that you testified on direct examination had to do with the incident that you discussed relative to the ladder being back on the pool and the side gate being open. Remember
Yes, I
talking about
remember
that?
Yes.
It was your testimony on a prior occasion. Would you agree that there is absolutely no way that Caylee would have been able to open that gate?
Oh, there's no way she could open the gate to the, from the backyard to the front yard. There's no way.
And as far as the date of that ladder incident, you have in the past testified that it was in the week before the gas can incident, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay. Today you say that that was the night of the 16th, but do you acknowledge that you've said it was the 17th or even subsequent dates during that week?
Yes. I mean, when I was looking back, early on, I was asked about it, and I knew it was either the 16th or 17th. I knew it was in those first 2 days after I didn't see her anymore.
You said that you called George when you made that discovery.
Yes, I did.
Did you call George from the house phone?
I'm not sure if I used the house phone or my cell phone, but I did call George.
Okay. Well, those would have been your only two options, right? The house phone or the cell phone.
Correct.
And if George wasn't at the house, as a call to him would suggest, you would have only the option to use his cell phone
Correct.
to reach him.
Correct.
Okay. It's not like there was a work phone where you could get him at his security job. You had to call him on his cell phone.
He had two phones. He had a work phone and his cell phone. And sometimes I did call him on his work phone if he didn't pick up on his cell phone, or he would call me, from either or, depending on, which phone he was using.
Do you recall if you left a message for him that day, or did he pick up when you called?
I know I spoke to him. I can't remember if I spoke to him after I had left a message or not, but I know that we had communicated.
You acknowledge as well that as it relates to dates in June of 2008, that you've already made other errors. Specifically, when you filled out your initial sworn statement, you indicated the last time you had seen Caylee was...
Just a second. Response to outside the scope.
Your Honor, we're talking about, he, in direct examination, asked questions about specific dates. I'm attempting to get the witness to acknowledge that she has made errors on dates in June of 2008 in the past.
Overruled.
Ms. Anthony, you recall that your first sworn statement to law enforcement as to the date that you last saw Caylee had an error, correct?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I'm aware of that.
You had indicated that the last time you saw her was actually a week prior to Father's Day.
Correct.
And it was the video of her with your dad
Yes,
that refreshed your recollection as to the accuracy of that date.
that's correct.
You said that you went to work and told some of the people at your office about the incident with you believing somebody was swimming in your pool.
Yes,
Okay. You also told them about the gas can incident that was reported to the police on June 24th, correct?
Let's go.
I'm not going to ask her questions about that. I'm asking about what she is reporting to her coworker, since there was a question about, did you tell them at work about certain things that happened in June of 2008?
Overruled.
yes,
Okay. Are you sure you were at work on June 16th of 2008?
yes, I know I was at work on June 16th, 2008.
Okay. Your time card reflects that you were at work on June 16th of 2008, does it not?
I would imagine it would, but I haven't reviewed that time card in 3 years.
May I approach the witness with 318 in evidence?
You may.
Have you located the entry for the week ending? Let me think. 20.
Yes,
Okay. Shows you were at work on June 16th of 2008.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's accurate.
Yes,
Are you sure you were at work on June 17th of 2008?
yes, without looking at this, I'm sure I worked June 17th.
Every day that week?
Yes, I had,
Up through the 24th of June when the gas can incident was reported.
yes, I had just come off vacation. So yes, I was back to work.
Okay. That time card accurately reflects that June vacation, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Your daughter Casey was home between August 22nd of 2008 and October 14th of 2008, correct?
All right, goes to outside scope.
Sustain.
Did you have contact with your daughter, aside from what was on the videos that were done at the jail?
Outside scope, Your Honor.
Sustain.
You showed us photographs of Caylee getting in and out of the pool. Did your daughter tell you that there was an accident involving the pool?
Objection, Judge, outside the scope.
Overruled.
No, ma'am.
In fact, she continued to assert to you after July 15th of 2008 that the child was kidnapped by a babysitter, correct?
That's correct.
Those are all the questions I have on the issues presented, Your Honor. Thank you.
Redirect.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Anthony, I'm showing you the photographs that Mr. Burdick just showed you. States RE, states RF, RG, RH, RI, RL, RK, and RJ. Now, first off, those are just photographs of tags, are they not? You can see some of the garment, can you?
Overruled.
That's true on all but one.
Okay. And are all of those garments pretty much knit type garments? Cotton material?
All but one.
Okay. Can you show me the one that is not cotton? Now that one that you showed me, that is of jean material, correct?
Like a cotton, there's pictures of jeans in the background, but that one's like a cotton.
And the shorts that Caylee was found in are jean type material, correct?
They're a cotton type material.
Okay. The knit material is material that is much stretchier. Would you agree to that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, are Caylee's clothing, does Caylee grow out of clothing that are of that rougher, thicker material a lot faster than they would of the knit material?
Yes.
And you also have kept lots of clothing from Caylee that she has outgrown, have you not?
Oh, yes.
You haven't sold it all at yard sales?
No, most of her stuff we have kept.
Okay. And a lot of this would be kept in Casey's room?
We had 3 locations, depending on whether or not Lee was home. If he was living at the house, then we wouldn't use that closet. But when he moved out, we used that closet or Casey's closet because she really didn't have a closet. She had an armoire. And then the drawers in her dress, in her armoire, and then the changing table was full of drawers.
So Caylee's clothing that she had outgrown would have been kept throughout the house?
Correct.
And the jeans, the shorts that Caylee was found in, you testified with Mr. Burdick that you hadn't seen it for several months, right?
I hadn't seen her wearing those for several months.
And the only occasion that you would see them is if you had the occasion to wash them, right?
Correct.
You don't, back in those days, you weren't deciding to, I haven't finished.
Sustain.
Were on those days, were in early 2008, was it a frequent custom of yours to just go looking for clothing that didn't fit Caylee anymore?
There were specific times that I would go through Caylee's drawers, like Christmas time. If she received a lot of gifts, you would tend to take out the ones that were smaller and then put the larger size in. Birthdays, the same way, any holidays.
And would you do these, would you best characterize that as spring cleaning type deal?
Or if I was putting something on her and noticed it was too tight, I'd note that. Sometimes I would set it on her dresser or may even leave it in the drawer with the intention to go back and go through all the clothes to kind of see if I had time to go through and see what fit and what didn't fit.
And unless you were washing these clothing, you wouldn't see them on a regular basis.
That's correct.
Okay. And that's consistent with what you just said, what you testified to, that you hadn't seen those clothing in a long time, those shorts in a long time.
I would say so.
Okay. And I know that this is going to sound odd, but Caylee was a child, right? Almost 3 years old.
You mean instead of it being a baby?
Yes. She wasn't she was a regular toddler.
Yes.
Okay. And as to her being obedient or not, did you treat her and discipline her like as if she were in the military or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Were you overly strict with her?
No.
So she ran and played like any other toddler.
Depending on her surroundings.
And she was just your average, if not above average, toddler.
I felt she was above average.
Thank you. No further questions.
May the witness be excused? Any more questions from the state?
Just very briefly. Mrs. Anthony, the fabric in the shorts that you were talking about, they're pink cotton
Yes, ma'am.
shorts, was that the same fabric as the shorts in the photograph? I believe it's 314. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but the one that we saw that you said was taken in 2007.
Yes, it's similar.
The sturdy cotton that has less give than a knit fabric.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to clarify.
Okay, may Mrs. Anthony stand down. Thank you, ma'am. You may stand down.
Thank you.